Why was the famous M9 Bayonet Knife a real failure? What could possibly go wrong, and why was it hated? Watch this video till the end to find out the sad but true story of how a legendary knife has actually become a legendary flop. Celebrated in the gaming world but often cursed by soldiers in the real one, the M9 Bayonet is a curious mix of innovation and missteps. Despite being the primary cutting tool for numerous militaries worldwide, it earned the scorn of those who actually lugged it into combat. So, how did this knife become both an icon and a headache? Flashback to May 1985, the Armed Forces Journal called out the military for not giving troops a proper cutting tool. Ever since the M7 bayonet bowed out in 1973, soldiers were left without a standard issue field knife. Those old pig sticker spikes that used to sit on rifle barrels? They went out of style faster than bell bottoms with the rise of automatic firearms. What was once a weapon had become more of a Swiss Army knife, used for prying, cutting, opening rations, and a laundry list of survival tasks. The M7 had roots reaching back to World War II's M3 trench knife, evolving through the Korean War, Vietnam, and into the Cold War's fourth decade. With such a legendary lineage, finding a worthy successor was no small feat. To dodge a drawn-out development saga, the US military asked 49 companies to whip up off-the-shelf designs for a new multi-purpose bayonet system. Must-haves include a wire cutter and a bottle opener, because why not? 6 prototypes entered the ring, but only one knife aced every test without flinching. Enter Mickey Finn, who swapped slicing deli meats in California for crafting elite weaponry at Qualitech. Quite a career pivot. Finn became a key player in creating the M9. While much of Qualitech's work is still hush-hush, they were known for things like suppressors and bulletproof clipboards. Yes, really. They'd snagged a few military contracts when the call came to design the Army's new bayonet. Finn's previous knife escapades included the Frobis survival knife prototype, famous for its oversized spikes on the handguard that could double as a grappling hook. Intended for Navy SEALs, it gained popularity in its civilian form, the Buckmaster 184, a knife that looked like it leapt straight out of a Rambo movie, shiny chrome and all. Though the prototype was as practical as a chocolate teapot, it laid the groundwork for Finn's bid to replace the M7. He also took notes from the Soviet bayonet, borrowing features like a built-in wire cutter and shock-proof rubber insulation. Mixing elements from the Rambo knife, Buckmaster 184 and Soviet design, Qualitech cooked up what many dubbed the Swiss Army knife of bayonets. Their creation boasted a 7-inch clip-point blade and a Zytel polymer handle. The spine sported light serrations, not for carving wood, but for slicing through the metal skin of downed aircraft. Talk about niche users. The handguard was a gadget lover's dream, a hole for a firearm barrel, a lanyard ring, and divots that moonlighted as a bottle opener. The knife's butt featured a bayonet attachment system, letting it hitch a ride on an M4, M16, or Mossberg 590. The signature hole in the blade teamed up with the sheath to function as a wire cutter, a direct nod to the Soviet model. The sheath itself was tricked out with a sharpening stone, screwdriver, and even a magazine pouch. Dubbed the Frobis 3 and priced at over $49 a pop, it was one of the priciest contenders, but it was also the only one to sail through all the tests unscathed. It ticked every box on the military's list and looked intimidating to boot, bigger, bolder, and more American than the Soviet bayonet. In true Cold War fashion, one-upmanship was alive and well. The Army lauded the Frobis 3 for its overwhelming user preference and flawless performance, promptly ordering 315,000 knives. Production initially went to Buck, the same folks behind the Buckmaster 184, and later to brands like Lancay and Ontario Knife Company. The M9 found its way to Army Rangers, airborne troops, and eventually most frontline units. It wasn't just an American affair. Militaries in Australia, India, Poland, and other US allies also adopted it. While there were minor tweaks over its lifespan, the standout spin-off was the M11 EOD, tailored for explosive ordnance disposal teams and swapping the bayonet mount for a hammer-friendly pommel. But here's where the plot thickens. The M9's high-tech all-in-one nature became its Achilles heel. By stuffing it with as many features as a gadget-laden spy car, it ended up being a jack of all trades, master of none. Soldiers griped about its heft. The M9 weighed in at nearly 2 pounds, double that of the M7. Its chunky quarter-inch spine was meant to make it pry-bar tough, but made cutting a chore. The serrations were toned down, likely to tiptoe around Geneva Convention rules about saws in combat. While kinder than the Buckmaster's aggressive teeth, these mild serrations struggled to cut even flimsy wood and rarely got to show off their metal slicing claims. Under the hood, the design had flaws. Most solid survival knives use a full tang. The blade's unsharpened metal runs through the entire handle for strength. The M9, however, had a short threaded tang screwed into a steel rod. Finn envisioned easy swapping of blades and handguards, but this modular dream didn't pan out, leaving the tang system as a weak link. Even the sheath had issues, more buckles and snaps than you could shake a stick at, and a flathead screwdriver tip notorious for poking paratroopers in the leg. Later models had to move it to the side. Plus, the bayonet clip system didn't play nice with molly webbing introduced in 1997, making it a misfit with newer gear. Despite its quirks and the chorus of complaints, the M9 stuck around for quite a while. The Marine Corps was the first to move on, replacing it in 2003 with the Ontario knife company OKC-3S, a simpler design inspired by the Ka-Bar and widely considered a superior bayonet. Qualitech closed up shop in 1991, taking the Frobus line with it. Mickey Finn, content with his mark on bayonet history, swapped tactical gear for the golf green, designing high-end putters. Today, the M9 shines not on battlefields but in pop culture. Its oversized handguard, exaggerated sawback, and trademark hole give it a silhouette that's instantly recognizable, cementing its status as a media icon. It's perhaps best known for its role in Counter-Strike, where it was among the first knife skins introduced in 2013. The M9 bayonet in Counter-Strike Global Offensive is like the Ferrari of virtual knives. It's one of the most iconic, highly coveted skins, with players drooling over its sleek design and killer vibes. In-game, it's portrayed with impressive detail, from its 7-inch clip-point blade to that cool sawback spine, and of course, the signature hole near the base. Fun fact, that hole in real life is for cutting wires, but in CSGO, it's just there to look awesome, and boy does it work. Now let's talk about price. In the CSGO market, M9 skins come with serious bragging rights. You could snag a basic one for a few $100, but if you're after something rare, like the Crimson Web or Doppler, get ready to shell out thousands. Yep, thousands of real-world dollars for a virtual knife. But hey, it's not just a knife, it's the statement, a badge of honor in the world of pro players and collectors. In terms of gameplay, the M9 Bayonet doesn't just sit in your inventory looking pretty, it's a deadly tool for sneaky melee attacks. And a backstab with this bad boy can instantly take down an opponent, even if they're decked out in full Kevlar armor and a helmet. But here's where CSGO bends reality. In real life, stabbing someone through body armor with one hit? Not gonna happen. Kevlar is built to withstand punctures, so while it's fun to pull off in the game, don't expect to go slicing through armor like butter in the real world. But that's the magic of CSGO, right? The M9 Bayonet brings drama, strategy, and excitement, even if it's not the most realistic weapon. After all, it's more about fun and flexing your knife skills than following the rules of physics. In the end, the M9's shortcomings weren't really on Qualitech or Mickey Finn. They stemmed from the laundry list of requirements slapped onto it by the military. Expecting a knife to be a bayonet, wire cutter, saw, pry bar, and bottle opener all in one is a tall order without sacrificing performance somewhere. Yet, these very flaws add to the M9's mystique. It's a poster child for the 1980s, a decade of wild innovation and impractical designs. It might not be the blade I'd pick for a skirmish, but the M9 Bayonet is a legend in its own right. Stick around for more quirky knife tales like this.